providing only logistic services, the last mile delivery, or for a warehousing company for warehousing those goods, or a back office for processing the orders which he receives. All these will be termed as electronic commerce operator. But will not include which is engaged in supply of goods and services on their own behalf. So Amazon India or Flipkart is the classic example which allows products of other companies, other suppliers, services of other suppliers to be made available, facilitated for sale or supply on their platform, is known as electronic commerce operator. However, if I say Hindustan Unilever on their own website, they make things available, or let us say Westside, or say Lifestyle, which is available there where on the website, or say Microsoft, which is allowing the downloading of the software from their own website as well. Now all these are not termed as electronic commerce operator because they are distributing their own goods. Now, however, let us say Hindustan Unilever, beside their own goods, may tomorrow offer products of other suppliers. Let us say eChopal, which is the website of ITC Limited. They allow not only the sale of their own products, but they allow sale of, say, fertilizer, seeds, pesticides, etc. on their platform for the farmers to buy. Even they allow the tractor spare parts also to be sold on their eChopal, because everything which is related to the farming activity is available on eChopal. So in that case, qua the activity of their own products, ITC one may say that he is not an electronics operator, but however their compass is wide enough to cover other products, other services. So tomorrow if they come with a subscription model, say giving weather forecast to the farmers on subscription basis, or providing the soil testing facility to the farmers. Now all these services may also be through a sub-vendors. If that is allowed on eChopal, for that reason also eChopal could be termed as electronics commerce operator. Section 43BA talks about aggregator. I am not purposefully traveling in a chronological order. I am going by the concept. Aggregator means a person. Once again, definitive means, though the word shall is not maintained, who owns and manages. Now here there are two things together. He has to own and also manage an electronic platform. By means of the application and a communication device, enables a potential customer to connect with the persons providing service. So this is purely in respect of service. Aggregator definition is only for providing services, not of making supply of goods. It is supply of services which is covered in the definition of aggregator of a particular kind under the brand name or trade name of the said aggregator. Now these are cumulative conditions. What are these conditions? He has to own and manage an electronic platform which enables potential customer to connect with a service provider, and this service provider must provide services under a brand or a trade name of such aggregator. Ola, Uber, Urban Clap are the classic examples for this. Ola, the owner of the vehicle, register himself on the Ola platform. Ola allows all these taxi owners to provide services under a brand name called Ola. So Ola is an aggregator. Urban Clap provides various household services, maybe a plumber service, an electrician, or a beautician to come to your place. So all these beauticians, plumbers, say mason, etc., carpenter, electrician, they register themselves on the Urban Clap platform, and they provide the service under a brand name called Urban Clap. So Urban Clap also becomes an aggregator. The issue to understand here is aggregator a subset of an electronic commerce operator? What I mean to say is, would the broader term electronic commerce operator also include a aggregator? Pause here for a while, because one will have to understand the implication for both the answers yes and no. We park this question for a while. What is brand name or branded services? They have stated that the aggregator will use the brand name or a trade name. So one has to understand what is a brand name. The definition says it could be a registered or unregistered, name, logo, signature, etc. to indicate connection with the service. If they are not talking about product, they are talking about only service. So this is purely for making things available as service. And what is branded service? Service by electronic operator under its own brand or trade name, whether it is registered or unregistered. So all our old decisions of Hasmugra and company, etc., you have to forget. It is everything covered. Now let's look at the provision of registration, where you will appreciate me putting up a question whether aggregator is a subset of the broader term called electronic platform or operator. Schedule 3, read with section 19, provides that there will not be any threshold limit available, that is compulsory registration in case of an electronic commerce operator or an aggregator. That is simple. Further it says every person who supply goods and or services through an electronic operator requires compulsory registration without any threshold limits. So if I say that a carpenter who is providing services through a urban clap is part of the subset of electronic operator, then every such person providing services through a aggregator will get covered. That means every artisan who puts up his goods on platform will also require to get registered. No, because there is no threshold limit. There could be one-time dealer. I may extend. If I were to sell my old furniture on OLX or Quicker, or my vehicle on say cardekho.com, will I also be required? Now if aggregator is a subset of e-commerce operator, then every person supplying will have to compulsorily obtain registration. This is the fallout of it. I do not know whether it is bad drafting or not intended and the interpretation is twisted by me, etc. I am not very certain about it, but it appears to me that this requires clarification, and I hope I am wrong on this, because otherwise there will be n number of people queuing for getting registration. If they do not get registered, what will happen? There will be as such provisions for tax collection at source already providing for TCS. What would happen if they are not registered? TCS credit will available to them or not? How will the electronic platform function? All these are questions which will have to be answered. Now, we will have to talk about place of supply. Friends, service provided by an e-commerce operator or an aggregator, including logistic and warehousing services. I just discussed a while ago that even the logistics service provider or a warehousing service provider, or maybe a simple packing and forwarding services, maybe a clearing house facilities, goods handling services which is provided by a service provider to a electronic operator will be termed as a supplier. And place of supply of such services, the general rule will apply, because it will be always location of service receiver, since there will be a registered registration compulsory. If it is B2B, then it is always the location of service receiver which will decide the place of service. A while ago, I think Vinayak Patkar would have taken this session earlier in this morning, so you are fresh with this concept. I need not deliberate further on it. Since there is going to be registration, it will be treated as B2B transaction. It is services by e-commerce operator to a supplier who is a recipient of say logistics services, etc., etc. Since they will be all registered, it is B2B transaction, and it will be therefore location of service receiver will be the place of supply of services. Now let's look at the supply of goods and provision of services by a supplier to a consumer. Now we are talking about the next stage, when the customer could be a business, or it could be other than business, a consumer, B2B or B2C. Now when we are going to talk about goods, the place of supply will be where the movement of goods terminates for delivery. Section 5(2) of the IGST Act, where the goods terminate for delivery by the recipient. And for services, if it is B2B, when it is between two registered entities, it will be registered address of the recipient of the services in case of B2B. However, if it is to an unregistered person, in more or less cases it will be B2C, the address on record of the person who receives the services. Now one will have to analyze this, factor them, provide them in the software, so that the e-commerce platform, when it offers the supply for taxation, would be in a position to pick these goods and correctly levy IGST, SGST or CGST as the case may be, correctly on every transaction, and also offer for tax correctly the particular taxable transaction. So the drafting or the putting in the program logic in the IT system is very, very relevant, otherwise one will get wrong in several cases. Branch transfer. Now typically what we have observed is, when you place an order on Flipkart, the goods will move possibly from Bangalore to one of the location, if the goods are not available, to the direct consumer. But if Flipkart Bhiwandi Godown has stocks, it will then move from the nearest point of delivery to the customer's location, which is very, very close to it. Now this is what is common logic of any logistic company. However, to make things available, Flipkart will have to maintain stocks, maintain godowns at various locations for quick delivery. Otherwise, how will they say or provide 24 hours delivery? They call it Flipkart Elite or Amazon Plus, whatever it is. Now in all these cases, you ought to have the goods available at the nearest stocking points. Similar is the case with the service provider. Now in all these cases, you have goods actually requiring to be moved from one place to the other, and such stock transfers is treated as supply under section 3, and hence it will be taxable. Now I have a little small question here which is pondering me, and we says that, let us say there are two godowns, one in Bhiwandi and another in Nagpur, and the goods move from Bhiwandi to Nagpur. Would it be a supply taxable? To my understanding, it is also supply taxable. The goods will have to be offered for tax because there will be a stock transfer advice. However, if you were to work out at the month end, the stock transfer out from Bhiwandi becomes stock transfer in Nagpur. In total compilation, there will be supply for taxation and ITC available. Now it will nullify, there will not be any financial implication, but to my understanding, there will be definite levy of CGST, SGST in this particular case. Of course, the recipient branch will always be eligible for ITC of the tax which is levied on the so-called supply or in case of stock transfers. Now let's look at the logistic warehousing by e-commerce operators and the auction area. Typically, now I am switching over to various activities which takes place on the e-commerce platform. Then we will talk about various income streams the e-commerce platform would earn. The logistic or warehousing services offered by e-commerce operators to vendors. Now here what I am talking about is a platform which is offering various this thing, because all these services will come under the incidental services, and hence they will be termed as e-commerce operators, and accordingly all provisions of e-commerce operators will apply to even provider of these incidental services, and hence they would also be liable when they receive the payments from the platform. these payments will be subjected to TCS. Auctions by site like eBay provides a platform for auctions. Now this could be supply of goods, and they will come under the definition of e-commerce operator. Now one will have to understand what is the role of the auctioneer here. I am not going to talk about Ashwin and company here, because we are burdened with these old decisions and we always talk about that when it comes it. Let's understand the modern trade, how it functions. Let us say I participate in the auction. I have my certain goods to be auctioned. So I will register myself on the e-commerce platform, let us say eBay, for auctioning my goods. eBay then provides me an opportunity to conduct the bidding. There will be bid open for say 2 days, 3 days, whereby there will be bid, counter bid, and etc. And at the end of the or expiry of the time, it is something like hammer on the last to the bidder. At the expiry of time, the last bidder, the successful, the highest bidder will be termed as a successful bidder. Now I, as the person who has offered the ware on the platform, will have to get money from directly from the successful bidder, and I will have to supply to the successful bidder. Here the role of the auctioneer is the platform, is nothing but termed as electronic platform, and they will be treated as supply made by them. Section 3(5) of the model GST law specifically says that they will be termed as service provider. So I will not argue to say that I am a matchmaker here as a platform and I would not be liable. No, you are a service provider. You are deemed as service provider. So Ashwin and company is directly answered here. Alright. Loyalty points, cashbacks and exchanges, which are the normal terms today, being the part of the festivities. One would have seen at least 5 such advertisements in Times of India to the other newspapers. Diwali Dhamaka sales on, and every website will either give you a cashback or allow you to exchange your old mobile for a new mobile, or they will earn you some loyalty points. So what are these concepts and how does this work? Now loyalty points are nothing but points for visiting and revisiting the same store. Now let us say if I were to go to Shopper Stop, I will give a simple example, then I will go to the e-commerce. If I were to visit Shopper Stop and purchase, and if I am a member of the Shopper Stop citizen, I accumulate certain points. These points are loyalty points. What does this allow? This allows me to encash these points at a later date against whatever merchandise which is available at the store. Now this is simple example of Shopper Stop. At the same time, if I am swiping my credit card, say ICICI or say Citi card, I accumulate certain points for swiping my card at the Shopper Stop, at the website, etc. etc. These are also equal to some points which are available. I am not talking about cashback, holdback. I am still talking about loyalty points. Now these points are available not only to be exchanged as against goods at the Shopper Stop, this can be exchanged against any of the merchandising shop which accepts Citi card or the ICICI card. That means I earn loyalty points at one shop, merchandise shop, I go at the other franchisee shop and encash it. Moreover, these points I can exchange against some services. Tomorrow I want to buy say air ticket, against that also I can exchange that. I can encash those points. So these are the various ways these loyalty points get exchanged. Look at the electronic platform. I purchase, let us say, a watch on the website. I earn 100 points, loyalty points. I am still not on cashback, I am on loyalty points. Because everybody has read cashback 10,000 rupees. 2,000 per swipe. Citibank's today's advertisement on Amazon. Agreed. But I'm still on loyalty points. These 100 points I can use against not only Amazon, I can use against Flipkart, Snapdeal, I can go any other website, and my next payments against Citi card, I can utilize those points. Or if I accumulate more, Citibank may give you waiver against my next year's subscription. Now, all these are various options available to me. How does this function? Now what would happen is these loyalty points will then be exchanged. So when I exchange those loyalty points, it is nothing but making payment as a part of consideration. So the payment consideration is made by way of cash or next credit swipe, as also against my loyalty point utilization. So that we need not confuse ourselves. The confusion occurs when I am earning point at one franchisee shop and engaging against the other franchisee shop, and that franchisee shop getting payment directly from the Citibank. Now how does this function? At shop 1 I have swiped and I have earned 100 rupees loyalty point. 1 rupee is equal to 1 loyalty point. Let's make it simple for us. So this 100 rupees is available to me, and I go to the next shop where I swipe that. Once again, now I am purchasing for 1000 rupees. I will cut that 100 rupees. I will make 900 rupees of payment to the shopkeeper. This shopkeeper will then claim 100 rupees back from Citibank. So the consideration received by the shop is into twofold: 900 rupees from the customer and 100 rupees from the Citibank. Look at this situation on the platform now. Today I have 100 rupees. Against my tomorrow's purchase, I will utilize that 900 rupees. I will make payment by new fresh swiping. 100 rupees I will claim as a cashback encashment. Loyalty encashment, and the platform will get 100 rupees. 1000 rupees totally, 900 from me and 100 rupees from the Citibank. Once again, these 900 rupees I would have again earned 90 rupees as a loyalty bonus or loyalty credit. So issue is the supply consideration continues to be 1000 and GST is payable on 1000 rupees. That is the point. Though it appears that only 900 rupees is there, one can argue that there is no privity of contract with the customer for that 100 rupees. The privity of contract with the customer is only 900. It is not the case. Go to Mohammed Akram, Supreme Court. The consideration is flowing from the third party. Even that transaction is covered under the broader definition of consideration under the GST law. So Mohammed Akram is duly taken care of, duly provided in this GST legislation.